Justice Katju says he has a lot to share and will be joining us in some time on the Newshour tonight, live on the program. Well, we have Harish Salve, former Solicitor General, Satyapal Jain, Chairman of the Working Legal Group of the BJP, and Mahesh Jetpalani on one side. Then we have Sanjay Hegde, KP Ramalingam and Gaurav Bhatia on the other side. Now, Mr. Ramalingam.
Yes, sir. Goswami, sir.
Mr. Ramalingam, how isn't it completely unethical? You try to put political pressure. You try, Mr. Ramalingam, to put political pressure because you've got 18 MPs, and you try to get an extension for a man against whom there are grave corruption allegations. Isn't that completely unethical? I think your party owes an explanation to the people of this country why you were trying to put pressure on the judiciary. Why were you doing that?
Sir, what Markandey Katju is telling, I think it is totally opportunistic, because he is now saying about Prime Minister's integrity and the Chief Justice integrity and all. He is now questioning. The same man in 2013, in the month of February, the first week, he given a statement against the present Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji. And then for that, Arun Jaitley was retorted to him, what type of man this fellow, this learned judge, he is giving a bazaar gossip and all. Like that, Jaitley was given a blow to him also. But so I am now, his tenure is going to be over. He is accusing Prime Minister, the then Prime Minister Manmohan Singh. He did for under pressure. He was
forget the timing issue. No, Mr. Ramalingam, forget the timing issue. No, forget the timing issue. Why are you going on about the time? What about? Let's get.
No, I am not.
One second. 1 minute.
There is no timing about it. I am integrity about the Markandey Katju now. I am talking about the
whose integrity?
Behavior of Markandey Katju. Behavior of Markandey Katju.
Just because he questions you, you question his integrity. He questions you, you question his integrity? No. You didn't question his integrity till now.
So Goswami sir, please hear me. He is telling that our leader was got bail from that judge. He was not applied to bail itself. In that case, our leader was not even
Mr. Ramalingam, Dr. Ramalingam, may I remind you most humbly, and I think you missed it, the then Law Minister H.R. Bhardwaj just spoke to me, and he admitted that 18 DMK MPs came and spoke to him to say that please ensure an extension for this particular man. Satyapal Jain, is that not a... No, 1 minute. No, why 1 minute. You have 18 MPs. Does that give you the right to try and influence the judiciary of this country, Satyapal Jain? Come to the moot issue. Come to the moot issue. Let us assume for a second Satyapal Jain of the BJP taking you up. Satyapal Jain of the BJP is responding.
It's highly not only immoral and unethical, but unconstitutional also to put any pressure by any MP, maybe 18 MPs, maybe 8 MPs, maybe 28 MPs. The judiciary, legislature and executive, these are the three
let him complete, sir.
Total working system. But the way DMK MPs try to put pressure on the then government has been made absolutely clear by the revelation of Mr. Hansraj Bhardwaj. In fact, if I may say so, Justice Katju's allegations and his observations have been by and large authenticated by Mr. Hansraj Bhardwaj. Except one or two sentences here and there, he totally says, he agrees with Mr. Katju, pressure was put on him, there were allegations of corruption against the judge.
Totally wrong,
1 minute.
He talked to many people in power. And I may remind Mr. Bhardwaj, so far as IB report is concerned, the moment somebody's name is proposed for elevation to the High Court or Supreme Court, IB sends its report directly to the concerned persons. And IB report is considered before they take any decision, maybe by the government and maybe even by the judiciary.
Sir, 1 minute. Sir, this
recent controversy.
Sir, this revelation
was received by the government of India. It was conveyed to the Supreme Court.
No, Mr. Jain, now let's get...
And the way they are defending.
It's an open debate.
DMK should have come out and tendered an unqualified apology to the whole nation for defending a person who did not deserve even to be a session judge, but to talk of a judge of the High Court.
1 minute. Once again, I'm telling the viewers tonight that Justice Katju has promised to make a live appearance on the Newshour to explain some of the complicated questions that emerge. Now let us assume Harish Salve, Mahesh Jethmalani, let's come into the debate. It's an open debate, by the way. Gaurav Bhatia, it's an open debate, which means I'm not going turn by turn. I'm letting anyone come in. Now let us assume Harish Salve for a second that Justice Katju has an ulterior motive. Let us assume that Justice Katju, Harish Salve, is trying to curry favor with the new government. But does the timing of his allegation, Mr. Salve and Mr. Jethmalani, outweigh the merits of the allegation?
Arnab, let me
Harish
very
first.
clear that
Harish first, yeah.
There are three distinct issues. One is why Justice Katju is doing what he is doing now. The second issue is what happened between 2005 and 2006, 2007. And mind you, Arnab, some part of what happened is a part of the judicial record. This judge's elevation was challenged by Shanti Bhushan ji in a petition he filed in his own name in the Supreme Court. The question of his repeated extensions was gone in. And I want to read 3 lines on your channel of what the Supreme Court said. The Supreme Court said, after noting the way these recommendations had been made, it says, since it is crystal clear that judges are not concerned with political angle, the then Chief Justice should have stuck to the view expressed by the Collegium and should not have been swayed by the views of the government to recommend the extension of the term of respondent to. It amounts to surrender of primacy by jugglery of words. The Supreme Court itself was critical of what happened, but they said we can't turn the clock back about his repeated extensions. So the working of this whole system of how judges are appointed is a second issue, and the role of the government in such judicial appointments is the third issue. So let's leave Justice Katju's timing aside. In fact, that by itself shows that if somebody who has stood by and been a beneficiary is now making allegations, there is something really wrong, but that doesn't mean his allegations are false. And secondly, he has not named the judge, but the kind of facts which he has alleged, and now what Mr. Bhardwaj says, seems to suggest he might have been talking of Justice Ashok Kumar.
Yeah.
And this is a matter of judicial record. I think the time has come where there has to be a complete white paper on what happened and how these things are being done, and whether there was an IB report or there was no IB report. Do Chief Justices give reasons or they don't give reasons? And in that case also the government pointed out, in 350 cases, from additional judge to permanent judge, the Chief Justice doesn't
Exactly.
It is one man who is appointing a judge. Now this is a very serious matter.
It's a very serious matter. Now there is one side out there tonight, and I think Gaurav Bhatia and Sanjay Hegde are all on that side, along with Dr. K.P. Ramalingam, which is saying that Katju's claims are based on hearsay. Right? The argument is he has no proof to back the anecdote that Manmohan Singh panicked. Who wants to come in? No,
yes, absolutely, Arnab. If I can come in there.
Sanjay Hegde goes in first. Sanjay Hegde. By the way, it's an open debate tonight. Feel free to respond to each other. Sanjay Hegde.
It does not behove a former Supreme Court judge to accuse a former Prime Minister of having panicked in whatever circumstances.
Why not?
I wish
if it is the truth.
That is definitely hearsay.
Why not?
There are so many ifs, buts.
No, why not? What if? Show me the rule. Show me the rule which says.
Let the former Prime Minister come and
was he an eyewitness?
Why is the former Prime Minister silent? Why the former Prime Minister doesn't come forward to clarify his position? If Hansraj Bhardwaj, Mr. Bhardwaj can come and clarify his stand, why not Dr. Manmohan Singh?
Mr. Jain, today we have a Prime Minister. About him, so many people can say so many things, but we do not, because we respect the office. And a constitutional authority always pays due deference.
No, deference does not mean cover up.
That is how
deference does not mean cover up.
Even if such serious allegations are leveled by a former judge of the Supreme Court,
please
even then the
deference
will remain silent.
No. Mahesh Jethmalani countering Sanjay Hegde at this stage. Mahesh Jethmalani, does deference mean cover up? Does deference mean cover up?
I don't think any high constitutional principle should yield to corruption and the discovery of truth particularly when we are talking about the dispensers of justice themselves, namely judges of the High Court and judges of the Supreme Court. I totally disagree with Sanjay. It is true that Justice Katju has done himself no service, rendered no service to his own cause by coming out so belatedly, and that too, he's been pretty mealy-mouthed about the allegations. He should have said who the judge was. He should have now come out at least and given full facts. It's left to our inference from judgments of Justice Pasayat to put the finger, point the finger at Justice Ashok Kumar. But that apart, the fact of the matter is this is too serious an issue, and it raises questions about who in fact is really responsible for judicial appointments. In this case, the Chief Justice of India seems to have yielded to the then government in power, and we cannot have a judiciary whose strength depends solely on the character of the Chief Justice. If that is the case, we need more transparency, and perhaps the time has now come for the National Judicial Commission.
Right. No. Gaurav wanted to come back, and I want to point out at this stage just two things.
Can I just continue?
No. One second. Gaurav also wants to counter. He raised his hand. He hasn't spoken now. I just want to say one thing. 1 second. Gaurav, before you come in to defend, I know you will want to question Justice Katju, but please remember the seriousness of the issue. We are talking about political interference in the judiciary. You should hate that. You should abhor that. And Hansraj Bhardwaj has told me, one, there was an investigation into this said judge, who Harish Salve took his name allegedly, which did reveal proximity to one political party. B, he confirmed he was approached by DMK MPs, thereby validating Katju's story.
Sir, he may say, sir, but we are denying it, sir. We are not approached.
Denying whom?
We are not approached.
Who are you denying?
And all.
Who are you denying? Hansraj Bhardwaj has confirmed it.
I am the party secretary. I can deny it, sir.
Dr. Ramalingam, the law minister is lying. One second, you are saying a former judge of the Supreme Court is lying?
He is lying, sir. Yes, he is lying. Yes, I can say openly he is lying.
Hansraj Bhardwaj is lying?
Nothing more than that. He is lying.
Hansraj Bhardwaj is lying?
Everything is humbug. What was told by Katju?
And why, Dr. Ramalingam?
Kalanjar was not even applied bail.
Dr. Ramalingam, why should I?
He said he was given, the file was given.
No, Dr. Ramalingam, please understand, be clear about it. The controversy surrounding the appointment of Gopal Subramaniam recently is proof to the fact that there is government interference with judicial appointments. Please don't, please understand.
Sir, I cannot interfere in that, sir. But
may I ask just one question to Dr. Ramalingam?
That is my
Mr. Ramalingam, were you a member of parliament at that time? Were you a minister in the centre at that time? Only the MPs, 18 MPs who went to meet Mr. Bhardwaj, only they could contradict that he never meant to meet him. You were not an MP, you were not a minister at that time. How can you deny on behalf of those MPs who met Mr. Bhardwaj?
Harish Salve.
What is my party is going to do it?
You may be in headquarters, but it was the MPs who met him.
Party headquarters.
Sir, do you realize the seriousness of the issue we are discussing here? That you have...
Maybe in headquarters in Chennai.
Do you realize how grave...
To make my comment, please.
Okay, Gaurav Bhatia wants to come in before you, Harish Salve. I come to you after that. Yes, Gaurav Bhatia, just a minute. Sure. Divorce your political interest from the subject and realize what we are talking about. A Prime Minister of the country panics. Pressure is put on the country's highest court and the Chief Justice of India. The revelation comes from a person who has been judge of the Supreme Court. Do you realize how serious the issue is? Gaurav Bhatia,
don't... He is complaining about 2013, he is complaining about Narendra Modi.
Gaurav Bhatia.
It is a very serious allegation that Justice Katju has made.
Yes.
And let me tell you that before being a politician, I am an officer of the court, I am an advocate, and I would always be in favor of independence of judiciary. And in this case, if these allegations are true, then they are very serious. And Mr. Salve rightly said that we need to reconsider the appointment of judges and the system that we have in place. This is the time to do it. However, I would also like to say this to Justice Katju, that he took oath under the Constitution which says, I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of India. did he not compromise the independence of judiciary when he remained silent for so many years? And that, I think, does not befit a Supreme Court judge. He should have acted when he was a sitting judge of the Supreme Court. He should have brought this to the Chief Justice of India's notice. And I can remind Justice Katju, he once said when he was a Supreme Court judge that the incorrigible judges should be transferred. There is something rotten in Allahabad. I will tell you that the judges in the Allahabad High Court were pained after they listened to this comment, because not all judges are corrupt there. And when he was in the Supreme Court, did he approach the Chief Justice of India to say, please do not give any judicial work to this judge? I would like to know from Justice Katju, did he do that or not? And he should have done that. Chief Justice of India on the
that is not the issue.
What I said
is not the issue today. The issue is whether the allegation leveled by Mr. Justice Katju about giving shield to a corrupt judge, appointing him in spite of IB report, whether these allegations are true, and if those allegations are true, why did the Government of India as well as the judiciary, they join hands together? The then judges also and the then Prime Minister government also. That is the issue. If you have certain observation against Justice Katju, I don't think that can be a subject matter of debate today.
1 second, Harish Salve wants to come back. We're going to come back to the debate now. Remember this, ladies and gentlemen. No, remember this. Remember this. No, I'm coming to Harish Salve first. Sanjay, I'm going to come back to you, Harish Salve.
And the judiciary of the day.
Harish
Salve, let's get the matter back in focus.
Sanjay Hegde, 1 minute, please. I want to get Harish Salve in, please, first. Yes, Harish. Mr. Salve.
Arunabh, the real issue is not for the present whether Justice Katju is a great champion for democracy who's exposing something bad, or is a party of the club who has now gone rogue. That's not the real issue. Yes. The real issue is today, at least we know, on the public record, a particular judge was given repeated extensions for 3 years and then made a permanent judge by the Chief Justice, contrary to what his collegium had said, without consulting the collegium. There must have been some reason why for 2 years this judge was not confirmed. What was that material? In the face of these allegations, I think we need to know. I think we need to know how this system functions. Was this judge being discriminated against, or was there good material? And if there was that good material, did it evaporate, or was there some other reason because of which a change of heart happened? Now then, from that you draw inferences, whether it was on persuasion or coercion or whatever of the government, whether Prime Minister was responsible or not, it is a separate issue, and I frankly think there is something in what Sanjay is saying, that he should have been careful before making such allegations about the Prime Minister. But let us come back to the real issue. This is the real problem. If the salt has lost its savor, where shall it be salted?
Mr. Salve, I take the moot question slightly differently, and I want those like Sanjay Hegde and Gaurav Bhatia and Dr. Ramalingam who are taking a position, this is all hearsay, rubbish, let's bury it. I just want them to consider one point.
No, I never took that position, Arnab.
Sir,
please don't take my name and say that I took that position.
No.
Because I am saying that whatever Justice Katju has said should also be tested. I said that.
Gaurav, what you have said...
I'm not at all saying.
No, Gaurav, what you have said is that you cannot take...
I'm only saying that a sitting judge is equally responsible to ensure the independence of judiciary. That is what I'm saying.
Gaurav Bhatia, I heard you a minute back, and bear with me. I heard you a minute back, and I heard someone who lunged into Katju for making these points. I have one limited point. Sanjay, I'll come to you. My limited point is only this, that the Supreme Court of India gave the harshest verdict in the 2G scam. In all the scams on issues regarding public interest and public litigation, the Supreme Court has stepped forth and defended the interests of the citizens of this country, and therefore there is a great expectation from the people of this country towards the obligatory function of the Supreme Court to ensure justice. Now we are hearing, Sanjay, we are hearing a former justice of the Supreme Court saying that a minister has the courage to go to the Chief Justice and say that, you know what, the government's going to fall, will you just let this man continue or give him an extension even if he's corrupt? Can you
How can he know all those things, sir?
No.
He was been stand behind the Prime Minister. But the Prime Minister spoken to the Minister.
Sir,
he heard it.
Sir, I am
of what somebody told him. by law, that is hearsay. That's point one.
You know,
Point two, how do we know what the minister...
Mahesh Jetmalani countering the hearsay argument.
All that could be said.
Mahesh, no, one sec, Sanjay. Sanjay, both Mahesh Jetmalani and Harish Salvi want to get...
Extension.
No,
we look kindly upon him.
I take Sanjay...
If the judiciary of the day looked at it, said, okay, the file looks either way. Let's give it another chance. Let's put off the decision for a year.
Another chance.
I don't think it's an unreasonable
It
decision.
is. No, one sec.
There can be
couple of points to
color.
Mahesh Jetmalani.
The color that Justice Katju gives
I take Sanjay's point.
Totally wrong.
Mr.
Sanjay's point.
Mr. Sanjay, even Mr. Hansraj Bhardwaj doesn't contradict. Mr. Bhardwaj doesn't contradict that he never went to meet the Chief Justice. He doesn't contradict that PM never asked him to go to the Chief Justice. He doesn't contradict that he was not present on the airport. He doesn't contradict that he never talked to the judges, senior most judges. He doesn't contradict that he was not aware of the background of the dead honorable judge. And he doesn't contradict that in spite of all that, it was given to him. You are trying to get more offense to the Prime Minister and other...
An interview is selective. It is not like an affidavit.
No, I just want to say one thing.
Two things need to be...
All that seems to have happened. A law minister always
if it is
does
true,
meet the Chief Justice.
Can I just say this?
Normal. This is how governments...
if it is
just
true,
now before in the debate number one,
that the then law minister
Gentlemen,
one at a time, and Congress threatened him to sue.
One at a time.
You have said in the open court.
One at a time.
He's saying openly on all TV channels.
One at a time. I'm now letting Gaurav Bhatia and Mahesh Jetmalani into the debate. Gaurav Bhatia and Mahesh Jetmalani can now debate each other. The point at this stage, I have 3 points to make before both of you come in. One second.
Want to say this.
One sec, Gaurav. Does the minister admit there was pressure? Yes. Did DMK MPs meet him to try and get a job done? Yes. Why would any set of MPs meet a minister to get a job done which involved putting pressure on the Supreme Court of India? I don't know why. Would people of this country feel let down with something like this? 100% yes. 100% yes. You want to bury it, Gaurav Bhatia? Do it. But do it at the peril of the independence of the judiciary. Gaurav Bhatia and Mahesh Jetmalani now. Mahesh Jetmalani.
I would now... Yes, Arnab, I would say this, that if a former law minister tried to interfere in the functioning of the judiciary, it should be probed even now. And it shouldn't be just let off. But at the same time, I would also like to say that had...
You think he'll admit it?
No, it can be still probed. There would be material... There would be material available. They can still be questioned. Justice Katju also can be questioned in this. And the Supreme Court judges right now can also intervene to take cognizance of this. Because if they want that...
Mahesh Jetmalani coming back to the debate.
By all. This is the need
Mahesh Jetmalani back to the debate. Countering you, please. Mr. Jetmalani,
one more thing, please. Allow me.
Mr. Jetmalani, countering you, please. Countering you, please. I'm letting the counter come in first. Mahesh Jetmalani is countering you now, please. Mahesh.
Arnab, had Justice Katju acted then, he would have done a lot of service to the judiciary.
Sir,
because
Gaurav, 1 minute.
You're
stating the obvious now. You are stating the obvious. For God's sake, everybody knows that Justice Katju should have spoken a long time back, but this incident first, everybody says that. Sanjay does have a point. Sanjay Hegde does have a point that after 10 years, you are going to damage the judiciary. But alas, once Justice Katju has chosen in his inimitable fashion to come out in the manner that he has done, this matter has to go to its logical conclusion. Otherwise, the public are going to lose.
I agree with you, Mahesh ji. I agree with you. That's why I said it calls for a probe. And even the current judiciary can look into it. They can ask for a probe. They can, Justice Katju can be questioned. The former law minister can be questioned on this for the greater good of the institution.
We are also ready for probe, sir, because they are accusing wrongly to us. So we also need for a probe.
So the first person you should act against is the law minister who has admitted you were trying to put pressure.
What everybody is suggesting is not a probe but a post-mortem.
If the post-mortem brings out the truth, what's the harm?
Because quite frankly,
yes, Sanjay Hegde,
the judge is dead.
No, but 1 second,
Sanjay is dead. He can't defend himself.
That
if the post-mortem teaches us some
can't
valuable
defend
lessons
himself.
so that it is not repeated in the future, then let's have a
for all of
post-mortem.
Justice Katju's eloquence, I have not heard of a single concrete case cited by him that in this case, Justice so-and-so was accused of having done this.
Sir, you know,
we don't know.
Sanjay,
May be material,
Sanjay,
may not be material.
Sanjay, you have an argument which is technically strong, but which has profound flaws in terms of being practical. Fact of the matter is, the UPA government has a record of giving in to the pulls and pressures of allies. DMK had 16, 17 seats. UPA had 225.
Sir, practically, sir, Goswami, sir, practically speaking,
I think Justice Katju's allegations justified the comment given by Dr. Manmohan Singh that is bound by the Kulishan Dharma. I think these were the compulsion that Dr. Manmohan Singh was facing when he talked about the Kulishan Dharma, that 28 MPs will come and pressurize him to give extension to a corrupt judge. Sir, is this the Kulishan Dharma that he was following?
It doesn't matter. The fact is that the charge is too big to keep aside, saying that it is coming up too late.
Arnab,
yes, Harish Salve. Yes, Mr. Salve.
Arnab, let's get the charge clear. Justice Katju has said that he had some information about the character antecedents of the judge. That's a matter to his personal knowledge, because he was the Chief Justice. That he received information, he knows. He then says he asked the Chief Justice to have this probed. Now, after which we know from public record that this judge for 2 years was not confirmed as a permanent judge. According to Justice Katju, he was not being confirmed because there was a IB report against him. The records of the court and the records of the government should be able to prove, was he not being made a permanent judge because there was an IB report against him, or was it for some other reason? If it was because of an IB report against him, Katju's charge is not that the IB report is true. Katju's charge is, where you have an IB report, how can you continue a person as an additional judge and then make him a permanent judge? That's the charge being levied by Katju. He is not making personal allegations against the character of the judge. He is saying, A, I had information which I passed on to Chief Justice. B, the Chief Justice got it investigated through the IB. Whether that is true or false is a matter of record. What we do know is that for 2 years this judge was not confirmed as a permanent judge. There must have been some reason.
That's right.
Let's find out the reason. If the reason is what Katju is saying, then the rest of the inferences would require, the rest of the matters would require a very serious probe.
That's right. And Mahesh Chetpalani, we are now heading to a straight live conversation with Justice Katju. What do you think, Justice? Do you think Justice Katju should just leave it at this, or take it further and get more specific? Before we talk to him, what do you think? And we were just lining him up, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to be live with us in a minute. Do you think he should get specific now?
It now behoves Justice Katju, and I urge him that he must come out with the full facts to his knowledge. He must tell us everything. He can't leave us in this state of suspended animation.
Gentlemen,
the nation deserves to know. Otherwise, he should have kept his mouth shut, quite frankly.
All right. Gentlemen, I thank you.